Know if you can see and hear me okay. Hello, hello. This is going to be a group energy healing where I heal 132 people in 11 different countries. And the theme is exciting, and also there's a sub-theme, of course. This theme is of this whole month of healings is sound boundaries. Which like hear yourself think is sort of the sub, you know, the little catchphrase with it. But so like being able to finish your own thought from like the beginning of the thought to like the middle of the thought to the solution. Like, 'cause sometimes if you can hear the whole thought, then like the conclusion and action, whether to act or not and how to act, that's all included in finishing your thought and hearing yourself think. So it makes your mind much more efficient if there's no interruptions, either internally through your own mental anguish and auditory telepathic anguish and external sounds coming in, contributing to the disruption in your thoughts. So that's what this month works on, is that auditory aspect, the mind, your thoughts, conscious and subconscious. So it's really cool. And sound boundaries, I've never really, you know, said it that blatantly, that's what we're working, sound boundaries, you know, but that's what we're working. So it's cool. And I think so far it's been good for people, very good. I did read everybody's surveys. Thank you so much for taking a minute to fill out your survey. And you know, again, just a reminder, the survey is not a test. It's not, you know, some sort of a test to see if you've watched the video yet or not, or it's just so I know how you're doing on a conscious level. And it just simplifies who I'm going to read and reflect upon. I do sometimes read and reflect upon other people that don't do the surveys, but it certainly is including the people that do the surveys, because that's that extra, it's a valuable extra piece of information for me to see how you're consciously doing. And then I can see the rest. Technique helped the most. And maybe a technique that you still need for the next healing. So thank you for your surveys. So what are we do? Oh, and the sub theme, quality of sleep. That's going to be a sub theme pretty much through the end of the year. But there may be some months where I don't introduce techniques to help it, or new techniques to help sleep. Maybe, I don't know. But this triplet set, it's absolutely a sub-theme and something that I'm actively looking at and introducing new techniques to help. That adds to the fun. So thank you for the confirmations that you can see and hear me. That's very helpful. So overviewing today's techniques. I have some things on the probably pile and some things on the definite pile. I'll jump to the new thing. Yeah. There are probably two new things, and then things that we're just doing more in depth than we did last healing. But let me. Oh, do I see it? Ah, I want to see better than that. Boo. Okay. The stomach meridian is that green one in the diagram that I'm showing. And we're gonna work some points. We're gonna work the CV meridian has a point, the penultimate acupuncture point, which means second to last. In my husband's live streams, that he does for comic books and stuff, we always geek out on the word penultimate. It's like penultimate. It's just a cool word. So anyway, the penultimate chakra on the CV meridian is CV 23, and so we'll be working that today. That's one of the new things. But also there are some stomach meridian points, 9, 10, 11, 12, rough location. But I wanted to show them to you on the diagram, but the diagram doesn't go down low enough, so I find a little stomach meridian video. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Oops. So, yeah, that's not as big as I like. Add. Excuse me while I screw around with the imagery. Get what. Oops. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna, in order to get the image I want, sorry, I should have done this ahead of time, but I just realized that we were gonna do these points like about an hour ago. So hold on, I'm gonna get rid of my camera image, but I'm still here. There we go. And I'm gonna to make a new image so that I can refer to it. Oh, run around with the video. Okay. Back. All right. Almost done. Take that up. Oh yeah, no, I need to add all that. Sorry. Bear with me, please. Do. Uh, uh. Okay. So I don't know if you could hear me, but now can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hopefully you can. So basically, I think these throat techniques, the reason why I'm spending so much time, even though it's the live stream, which is, but is because I think if we do these points around the throat, like the CV meridian 23 point, which is the penultimate point of in the CV meridian, conception vessel meridian that goes up the midline of the front of the body. We do that. And then we do stomach meridian points 9 through 12, which I will show you. So stomach meridian is that green, the green line in the meridian diagram. And I finally got it. Make myself small. Don't think I'll use these any. Okay, yeah. So stomach meridian 9, 10, 11, and 12. So see that green line that goes down the throat on both sides of the throat, and then it takes this sharp right angle turn and goes along the clavicle here. So that's the green meridian there. There are 2 points on the throat on either side, and then there's that one where it turns the corner, and then the one over. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's like boom, 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 boom. 9, 10, 11, 12, right? On the green line, stomach meridian, right? And so those points, we're going to be repairing and healing, helping you have much better flow and presence there. And then CV meridian, that in the diagram, it's a gray line that goes up. It starts in the crotch. We work it a lot. CV meridian, well, relatively speaking, conception vessel meridian, because it manages all the yang meridians. And the penultimate point in the CV meridian is right here in the throat, roughly. And you can see a little dot on the diagram, hopefully on that green line, on the gray line, sorry, for that penultimate point. And then the ultimate point is right here below the lip. So we're going to work CV 23, conception vessel 23, and then stomach meridian 9, 10, 11, and 12. I think that'll help a lot with your sound boundaries and maybe help a sore throat too. Or, someone who's having some communication issues. I'm excited. So anyway, sorry about having to do the back office kind of stuff in front of you. The Meridian Man. Yay, thank you for the feedback. Yeah, so the Meridian Man is back. We like him. What would we do without Meridian Man? I would love if it was Meridian Lady, because most of my clients are women. Not all. I do love my male clients, but many of my conscious clients are. I heal a lot of men, but many of them are telepathic consent. But I do have more and more conscious male clients, which is nice. So anyway, so that is the new thing, is a focus on those meridian, those points. Because we haven't done too much with the stomach meridian in general, other than, like when we unblock all points that are around the eyes, or all points, whatever. But so, when we repair and unblock all chakras, well, that does include the points within the stomach meridian and all the other meridians. But, we've never focused on specific stomach meridian points in a healing, so that should be very cool. And then that one right there, the CV 23, should be really cool. So I'm excited. So that's probably the newest thing that we're doing today. So yay for that. And then, so I just explained this CV23 work and stomach 9 through 12 work that we'll be doing to help sound boundaries and other things, communications, blah, 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 etc. I wanted to talk about the sleep slide again. Sleep slide. Okay, so the sleep slide is it's your path that you take to the astral when you fall asleep. Also, you could take it just for fun on purpose when you're doing like an out of body meditation. And I wanted to explain that because that's kind of fun. Like you could unblock your sleep slide more, you know, which maybe like overtly, like it looks like when it's all ideal, it would look green. That's just what the angels told me, seems to be true. So I'm not going to get too much into why green, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so it's like a cool, but if you have too much baggage and stuff, it can be hard. Like if people, thanks to people's surveys in part, I noticed why, like some people, a lot of people can fall asleep well, but the first time, but then when they wake up, it's hard for them to get back to sleep. So not the going to sleep, but the getting back to sleep. And I think I figured out maybe entirely why that's the case, which is kind of thrilling in sort of a geeky way. So it's because when you go to the astral, you know, your angels heal you and, you know, you get over some stuff that was upsetting you, hopefully, you know, ideally. And so you have more energy. Your astral body has more energy than it did before, and it's more flowing and everything. So when you're coming back in the first time, like say if you have to pee or something, or, you know, your pet makes some noises in the night and it wakes you up, or, you know, for some reason you're waking up, right? But you have more energy. So when you're trying to fit back into your body, it triggers stuff that wasn't triggered, like say at dinner time that day, you know, that like 4 hours ago or 5 hours ago, you know, when you were eating dinner, it wasn't triggered, right? But now you come in with more of you and it sort of kicks up the dust, you know? And so it triggers baggage that's been in your body system this whole time, but wasn't triggered. And now it's triggered. And so because it's triggered, and your inner state affects how cool your slide is, how unblocked it is, how accessible it is to you. That inner baggage that just got triggered blocks your sleep slide. And it kind of looks like you have a sock over the the lower half of your sleep slide. So you can't get on the sleep slide. And, you know, eventually people unblock enough, untrigger, you know, the what's triggered gets, you know, either hopefully cleared or it just becomes less triggered so that the sock, you know, blocking your entrance to your sleep slide becomes more diffuse and you can get back on your sleep slide and go back to sleep. So that's exciting because I've never really known, like, okay, why is that? Because I just didn't know, you know, how can you fall asleep the first time just fine, but then not, you know, after waking up? Like, what the heck is that? But it's because you're waking up with more energy, you know, more astral body energy, which is a good thing, but then it stirs up stuff that wasn't stirred up before in all your physical body chakras and aura and grounding and whatever. And so then that stirred up stuff is now triggered and it blocks the entrance and the lower half of your sleep slide. So we can try to be proactive and clear the stuff that the going back to sleep baggage. But I don't know how perfect that will be because it could always be something different that gets triggered, you know, as far as your going back to sleep baggage. But we'll see. We'll see how proactive we can be about it and clear more and more of your going back to sleep baggage. So I'm going to make a note of that. So that's a kind of a new realization that is sleep slide, very sleep slide related. And thank you everyone for your survey feedback about your sleep. But the fun thing, I didn't mention the fun thing. Like if you unblock your sleep slide somewhat, and then like if you do an out of body meditation, you don't have to use the sleep slide to do it. You could just kind of, I don't know why that is, but that's the case. I think because you're not actually falling asleep, you know, if you do an out of body meditation. Like I have an out of body meditation video that also has Sky Jacuzzi in the title. And that's fun. And on that, you're not really taking your sleep slide. You just go straight up and your angels bring you to the astral and, you know, you meditate, but you maintain more contact. So you're conscious as you're doing the out of body meditation. But some people fall asleep because they can't maintain that contact enough. So they fall asleep during the video. Why you should not do that video while you're driving. But anyway, you could just for kicks use your sleep slide while you're awake. And again, do not do this while you're driving. I mean, do what you want, but it would be incredibly dangerous to do this while you're driving. And also it would be dangerous to do if you're in an unsafe location, like a train platform or something, or some, big retail store. Like this would not be something to experiment at that time. Do it in an energy regulated environment, like your home, which hopefully you've cleaned out energetically. You've asked the angels to clean out your home. Maybe you do like a tricolor earth energy soak with your home and you bring up like 3, red earth energy, soak the place, bring up orange earth energy, soak the place, yellow earth energy, soak the place. And, maybe you say, angels, can you clean out any invasive beings in my home? Which, will do some work. If you imagine your home and you do like a gold net and you clean out some more yourself, that would be nice too, like a big gold net. And just imagine your home like in a really small version, and the giant gold nets, and just gather up any invasive beings and take them out. Angels, here you go, gather them up. Now, if you don't do that like with your whole condo building or your whole apartment building, just do it with your unit that you yourself own and regulate. But anyway, so safe environment. You do it in a safe environment, but you could do that. Let me fix my camera focus. There we go. You could do that. You could like clear some stuff off your sleep slide and then just for kicks, go up it and just like be like, and have your angels, give you a quick healing up there and then come back down your sleep slide and you get more, you're able to bring more of you in with a sleep slide that's more unblocked. So it's kind of fun, because it's like this, because, a lot of times if you unblock, there is an immediate difference. But with sleep slide unblocking, it's like a difference in a whole different way where you get to see how it feels to come back in on your sleep slide. And it can be a bigger difference because you're going out and then now you're not limited when you're coming in the same way because you unblocked your sleep slide to a certain extent. So it's just a little fun thing you could play with, as you unblock your sleep slide and notice it and start reading it. And like, for example, you might notice like some little like speed bumps on your sleep slide, and those might be created by internal fear baggage that you have. And so if you clear the fear baggage that's causing the speed bumps on your sleep slide, that automatically is going to feel better because you have less fear blocks right up against your tummy area and all around, your first layer and in your first chakra. So that's going to feel better. But then you could see, if you're not driving and you're in a safe location, you can see, and you can say, angels, help me do this so it's fun and safe and everything. And just, imagine like, you go up your slide and, get a little quick healing from your angels up on the astral and then come back down and then, into your body and see how that feels, because you probably will be able to bring in more of your spirit's first chakra energy. And, you know, so your astral body, first chakra in your first layer could be considerably more, you know, full of your own, you know, life force, courage, safety, and abundance. So it's just geeky fun. So it's possible that, you know, I'll mention that as we do unblock to help the sleep slide, you know, that, okay, if you're in a safe location, you could go back out and come back in just to see what it's like. So I'll mention that. But, you know, don't do it if you're if you're not in a safe location or you're driving or whatever. You will get the benefits the next morning when you wake up. Which, speaking of which, somebody, when they came in, they felt kind of flat, like they didn't feel motivated to do things, and so they just sort of chilled out. And I think they just had brought in so much new energy because their sleep slide got so much less cluttered that they were processing. So that's possible. Now, if, you know, you never get your motivation back and your inspiration, then, you know, maybe some fourth chakra work would be necessary because that's motivation and inspiration and passion. And then, you know, maybe just repair all your chakras just for good measure, just in case. But in that person's case, they were just processing. Meaning processing means, you know, just sort of synthesizing, like, okay, this is really different now. And, you know, it just can make you a little more mellow. And not that you have to do nothing for hours if you're processing. It's just that if you're processing, it's like you're kind of busy spiritually at the time. But if you're not able to devote processing time to your processing, then, you know, maybe just extra gold light, extra grounding flow, unblock your grounding, do gold light throughout your space just to speed it up a little. Okay. Also want to talk about So still discussing techniques for today. Pants blocks. Da-da-da-da. So anyway, this is my new graphic. I debuted it yesterday or 2 days ago. I'm very proud of it. It's not all that special. It's just I haven't done that much before. Like, you know, just getting images from somewhere and putting them together and whatever. So it's exciting. A little baby graphics project. And I added the little gradient, you know, the colorful background there. So anyway, but this pants blocks, clear pants blocks means you know, we unblock here more than we explicitly block that unblock this area shown in the diagram here at the male model and the female model. So that area of the physical body and the astral body and the first and second layers around that area, all around that area. So within it and around it, and for the astral body and the physical body, auras and body. And it helps you, and second and first chakras are within that area as well. And second chakra helps with sexuality, emotions, and sensuality, enjoying like flavors and tastes stuff and fabric. And first chakra helps with courage, safety, abundance. So that's pretty huge. And that was a big benefit of the first healing. And we'll just keep doing that. So that's that. Yay for clearing pants blocks. Another thing we will do today is, for sure, is about screaming. We will not scream today. Well, you could scream, but screaming, like telepathy, you know, the main theme is about sound boundaries. And so technically that's, you know, having better boundaries with people when they're screaming at you, or they're just broadcast screaming to like the whole world and general broadcast screaming. And then you don't want to like have to hear that so prominently in your own mind, because it can interrupt your thoughts and make you less productive and less focused, and it can affect you emotionally and in a lot of ways, you know, because they're not screaming out of joy. And regarding the screaming, I think maybe I wasn't clear before with my teaching, clear enough. Usually when people are screaming their anguish, their rage, their whatever, they're channeling. Like, it's not really a centered thing to do. Like, you know, I'm going to scream for 5 minutes because, you know, whatever. Like, that's not, if you're really checked in, that's not what you do. It's just not. So when you're screaming, there's usually something coming through you, like invasive beings or just random energy from the world, and you're just kind of not quite checked in, and you're acting out that energy that's coming through you. So people may think, like, there's some people that kind of, you know, rage scream as like a hobby or something because they think it's helpful for them. But I would say it may feel like it's helpful for you, but it's not actually, spiritually speaking. I mean, if it's helpful for you, if you just, you know, choose to enjoy like sort of like a rage thrill, but the cost of the rage thrill is considerable. And I will point that out now. So what is the cost to you of like having that rage thrill and just screaming for 5-10 minutes or whatever or longer, you know, either a part of you subconsciously or consciously a part of you screaming out loud, you know, like say if you're in your car or in your house and nobody can hear you. So if you're thinking of somebody directly as you scream, that's very risky karmically, because you could be doing a sound attack yourself towards that person. And you could be sending those blasts of sound to that person if you're thinking about, if you're imagining screaming at them, but they're not in the room. So you're thinking, oh, it's fine because they're not in the room. But sound is energy. And so you could be blasting them with energy. And it's more likely than not that you are actually. And it's not something that if you ask your angels, oh, block this, but I'm going to think of this person and scream for 5 minutes, but I don't want it to harm them. Your angels probably will not block it. I think sometimes angels want you to feel the effects of what you're doing. They don't want you, because when you're screaming and you're thinking about somebody, there's a risk to you karmically, because now you're screwing with somebody, so karma screws you. But then too, there's a double risk, because that anguish, and basically you're channeling already to be that full tilt. So you have energy that's not yours running through you, making you that intense. But then on top of that, it's very evident to like invasive beings, like you're like a blinking neon sign right now of like instability. Like, this one's really unstable and she has rage joy. She goes for rage thrill, you know? And so it's like, it attracts invasive beings to you more than you already have a problem with. So it's very risky for you personally to do that. And not only that, you're possibly harming someone else as well. But if you just don't think of anybody, but you're just screaming like that, you know, if it's more than just like 30 seconds of screaming, you are more likely to be channeling stuff that's making you kind of get lost in that rage thrill. And like I said, then invasive beings, that's really obvious to them. So they're like, oh, that one's easy. So anyway, totally up to you, but I wanna be more clear about the risks of rage screaming, which to you, the rage screamer would be considerable, and obviously to other people. So, but if you look at the other side of that, are people rage screaming at you? Which could be true. And that is what I call a sound attack, that someone's rage screaming at you. And so we worked boundaries, in the fourth and fifth layers at this height of your fourth and fifth chakras. We worked so you have better flow in your auras all around, behind you, in front of you, to the side, at this height in the fourth and fifth layers that relate to the fourth and chakras. So we did that, and I do think that helped, but we're going to add something to it about the seventh chakra itself. Because I think the more unblocked your seventh chakra is, the more present you are there, then the more sort of leverage you have to clear chakras below that. So I think there's a limit to how efficient we can be in just clearing fourth and fifth layers, so that you have better sound boundaries if we don't unblock the seventh even more. But then if we unblock the seventh even more, this kind of happens automatically, almost like clearing more and more of this. His sound boundaries is sort of like it's a deeper level of presence and flow to have sound boundaries, where it doesn't really rattle you when people are screaming at you. The thing is, when people are screaming at you, it can still be distracting. Even if you're flowing and everything, because you can hear it if you're a conscious telepath, and you can hear it subconsciously if you're not a conscious telepath. So I wanted to again emphasize that people who scream, rage scream, for longer than like 2 seconds, and they're actually thinking of you when they do it, or they're targeting, they're most likely channeling, meaning they have invasive beings that are fueling that behavior. So the upside of that for you, the person being targeted, is that that if you ask your angels to recycle the beings that are fueling that person's rage scream, they'll probably stop rage screaming at you for at least a few hours. So that's a really handy thing to know. If you have, say, we'll say Barbara, we'll call, because I don't have any clients right now named Barbara. So we'll say Barbara Smith is rage screaming at you. So then what you do is you look at Barbara Smith, and then you look at you imagine the beings that are fueling her rage screaming at you, and, kind of encouraging her to do that and having her get stuck in that mode. And then you just say, angels, can you please recycle all those invasive beings? So you don't do anything to her. You're just kind of observing and going, yeah, it's totally fueled by invasive beings, which it most likely is. And so you don't, if you can't see or whatever, you could just say, angels, can you please recycle any invasive beings that are pushing people to do sound attacks with me, or pushing people to scream at me. I hope that makes sense. And if you have trouble wrapping your brain around that, and you think, no, I think it's just cathartic to scream for 5-10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever, over and over every week, I would say go ahead and do an experiment and imagine yourself, and imagine, if there are any invasive beings that might possibly be getting you stuck in rage. And ask your angels to recycle any invasive beings that are helping to fuel this behavior that you're doing. And then, just keep asking that, and see if your urge to scream for 10 minutes is gone or less. Because then, if it's a lot less, then you just have some repressed anger that you're doing, and you can clear that mindfully, because the problem is, if you get lost in the rage screaming, you're not actually clearing much. You're just kind of exhausting yourself. So then you still have almost as much rage still within you, you know, maybe it's just not triggered anymore. But that's why people that do that, they tend to do it very regularly because it doesn't really fix the problem. It like lets off the steam, but the issue is still there. Like all the repressed anger, the victim baggage, the whatever is still there. The wounds are still there. So you can have the beings recycled, then you're more likely to stay present, and then you're more likely, even if you just do some breathing or something nurturing for yourself, you're more likely to actually clear some of that baggage that's causing you to feel so overwhelmed. You know, because getting lost in that behavior, it just makes you less safe than you already are. The reason you're wounded is because you're not safe. So, you know, the idea that I would suggest is to make yourself less in danger spiritually, you know, increase your spiritual safety, increase your, you know, how whole and flowing you are and present you are, so that you can really, you know, experience things that you want in your life. Okay, so that's enough on that, but we will be working all the angles of the screaming that I just discussed. Both, you know, if you're doing it or someone else is doing it, and just all that. I'm just making sure I overviewed everything I wanted to. Yeah, so the 4 definites are the meridian stuff, the CV 23, stomach meridian 9, 10, 11, 12, and then the sleep slide work, the screaming work, and the pants blocks work. But then we'll see what else comes up if other things come up along the way. All right, so I will check comments right now, chat comments briefly before we get started, and then I'll do the 3 minutes of quiet, and then I will start the healing. And all except for the first minute of the healing, I talk out loud and say what I'm doing as I do it. So you could use that as a walkthrough if you want, an all levels walkthrough, and heal yourself as you listen by doing what I'm explaining on yourself. Someone says I can see and hear you. Thank you. Can see and hear you from Evergreen, Colorado. Thank you. 66 and sunny. That's pretty nice. Nice weather. Happy to catch a live so I can follow along. Yes, you're welcome. Welcome. I do 5 of these each month, and the schedule is on my website, jwhealing.com. This is I can see and hear you from Las Vegas, Nevada. Currently at 93 Fahrenheit. Wow, in October. That's impressive. Looking forward to the healing. That's amazing. Because the US is such a big country that there's like really wildly different weather all within the same country. And for those of you not in the backwards US on the Fahrenheit system, those of you on centigrade, 93 Fahrenheit is probably about 34 degrees or so centigrade. All right. Someone says, hello, Janet. I can see and hear you, but the sound is on and off on my end. Huh. I wonder if that was, yeah, that was probably just you. Everybody else, if you have sound issues, please put that in the comments. Please chat that so that I know it's not just that person. This says, yes, I can hear you in the Meridian van. Hey, Janet. Thank you for healing me and my spouse. You're welcome. My pleasure. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you. Hi, Janet. We could see and hear you in Chicago. 74 and sunny. See, 74 would be nice. I would really like 74 right about now. We're definitely not at 74. We're maybe at, I don't know. Maybe today we'll be probably in the mid to low 60s today, which is maybe about 18 degrees Celsius or so. My husband and I both have a sleeping problem. Now I know why. Too bad he won't believe me. Yeah, that's okay. You can I mean, you're getting him this healing and you can get him more healing, you know. Now through the end of the year is when I'll be working on sleep issues especially. And put in your survey, there's a separate question for sleep. And so put in your survey real specifics like, can you fall asleep okay? Can you not go back to sleep? If you can't go back to sleep, you know, what time is it that you tend to wake up at the same time and then not be able to, you know, it's like, so say you go to sleep at 10 p.m. just fine, wake up at 2 a.m. to pee, and then you can't go back to sleep till 4 a.m., you know, whatever. Like, good for me to know the details. I can read stuff. I can read the energy of what you're talking about. So yeah, so you can just fill out sleep information for him on the survey and, you know, you're getting him the healing, so that's good enough. He doesn't have to know consciously. A lot of people make a lot of progress without knowing about the healings consciously, so that's okay. Someone says, I think it is my angel stepping into the screaming sounds and talk to me, which seems to nullify the screaming, hissing sound in my ear. Okay. And you know, because it wasn't clear from your survey whether or not the sounds that you normally hear are worse or better than usual. You were just like, I love this healing. But you didn't say like, okay, screaming from this person is less loud, or it just doesn't bother me as much, or the hissing from this, you know, situation is less loud today, or it's the same loudness, but it doesn't bother me, you know, whatever. It'd be good to have concrete, like, how is it today versus, you know, normally, because versus like, you know, before the healing, or, you know, the last week, because especially this month, that's what the healings are about. That's the main theme, is sound boundaries. Okay. All right, so we'll do the 3 minutes of quiet, during which time I finish my prep, and the last minute of that quiet is me starting the healing, and then I talk out loud as I work after that. Okay, so 3 minutes of quiet. All right, Izzy, that's a lot of water. Izzy. Izzy. My dog is so weird. He always drinks a lot of water when he has to go to the bathroom. It's like, you're not helping. All right. Okay, thank you for waiting. So let's do grounding. Just recreate your groundings, which connect you to the core of the earth, help you to release energy, help you to receive earth energy. You could recreate them both, make them both the same color, red or orange or yellow. Nice and wide, all the way down to the core of the earth. And bring them up as high as your third chakra, which is below your sternum bone. So groundings nice and high. And then you can make a copy out in front of you of your groundings and comb through it with gold light. Especially the back of your grounding. The simplest thing to do, if you start feeling weird at some point, is to check your grounding, especially in the back, and unblock it. Your grounding is, your drainage, right? So if it's blocked up, then everything starts to block up above that. So just you can group together the energy blocks in your grounding through your intention. You don't have to see them, and just melt them all with gold light. Bunch together the blocks in your grounding, melt them with gold light. Indie grounding is where you check the outer surface of your groundings, and you use gold light and melt away any attachments. So your grounding just goes straight down without any branching off other people. You may have hard objects sticking out of your grounding that people have thrown, and so just melt those away. Sometimes if people are cranky, their grounding is blocked. Maybe they have a bunch of thrown objects blocking up their grounding. The other reason for crankiness that's the most common, in addition to blocked up grounding, is aura damage and or chakra damage and or creative ring damage. So that's why we're doing all those other things right now. So we'll start with aura repair. So just imagine all your auras out in front of you. You have 17 of them. Astral body, physical body, and then astral body aura, physical body aura, and then your Wei Qi auras, and you have 15 of those. Wei Qi is a traditional Chinese medicine concept, and it is your strong boundaries energy. The Wei Qi auras are part of you as a spirit. So just come through all your 17 auras all at once. If you're reasonably present, they're all in the same place, but you can have, it like begins to feel different. The more you use your hands, the better they work for you. but you're looking for holes, like it'll just, there won't be enough pressure, and it's like there's like a rip. So you want to sense rips. You can even repair them that way, with, you know, just a copy of all the auras and just do each area one at a time that's ripped. But we're going to repair all the rips at the same time using composite copy technique. So you imagine an image of a rip and you say with your intention, okay, this represents all the rips in all my 17 auras. Then as you repair this copy, you're repairing all the rips. And we'll do that twice. So to be more thorough. So you have your composite copy rip, fill it up with sticky gold wax, which is gold light from your hands that sticks to whatever's not you, forms a big lump. So it's easy to get rid of stuff. So sticky gold wax, lift out all the junk, including hard objects thrown from people. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax again, have it stick to everything that's not you within the rips. And lift out a big lump, and angels, here you go. And then get the gold light really deep in there. If you have invasive beings in the way that were not removed by the sticky gold wax, you can just say, angels, please recycle any invasive beings in the way of this aura repair. And then use gold light, get it really deep in there so that the rips grow back, repair. It could be some hard objects that you missed, so just get those, give them to your angels. Okay, so that probably repaired most of your rips, but we'll do it one more time in case you have any leftover rips. So imagine a new image of a rip and have it represent all the leftover rips in your 17 auras. And then the same process, sticky gold wax, lift out the junk, angels, here you go, sticky wax. Oh, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way of this repair? All right. And then you may have some leftover scarring, hardness in the outer surface, or I call it bruising if it's, you know, a couple inner layers, a patch of a couple inner layers of hardness. And the hardness is weakness in aura speak, or in aura theory. Leftover hardness makes your aura more likely to tear more deeply next time. So we don't want that. So just pile up copies of all the leftover hardness and melt it away. Any leftover hardness in your auras, just stack up copies of it and melt the hardness. Gold light. If anyone's corded to it, just melt away the cords. The hardness. And just go over the outer surface a little bit extra. Check for any little tiny leaks left over. And spend a little extra time so that they get repaired. And if there's a leak that's not just teeny weeny, but, you know, more major, it could be that you left some hard objects stuck in there. So get the hard objects out, give them to your angels. The angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way, can you please recycle them? And use gold light. Back. No more leaking. All right. Good job. You can redo your gold buffer zones. I have a video on that. If you search gold buffer zones, you'll find it. Buffer zones help you to slow the rate of aura damage. Okay. So we're going to be repairing all major and minor chakras at the same time soon, right after we do creative ring work. But I'm going to stick in here, work on GV20 and also the 7th chakra as well, which is like directly under. Because your creative rings are 3 gold rings right here, 1, 2, 3. And they're part of your astral body energy system. They generate gold light, lots of it, hopefully, and send that down to your major chakras. Also, it can form a nice gold flowy force field right up here, which is important and helpful. And right under that is your 7th chakra. Your 7th chakra is oriented this way, as opposed to the rest of the chakras, which are this way, front, round opening in the front and round opening in the back. But your 7th chakra is oriented this way. So round opening right at the top there, and then in the bottom of the chakra, which is like in there. But GV20 is a whole different thing. GV meridian comes up the midline of the back, and it comes down the front, roughly ends in the roof of the mouth. So GV20 is the acupuncture point at the top of your head and in the GV meridian. And so since they're both in the same location, they're oriented differently. I mean, GV20 would be oriented, it fits inside the meridian, so it's oriented this way. Keeps the energy flowing in the direction that it should flow. GV20, all the acupuncture points do that. But anyway, so GV20 is oriented this way. 7th chakra is oriented this way, but if that blows your mind, don't worry about it. We're going to repair both those chakras and the repair and unblock and also the creative rings. Let's just freaking do it. All right, so make a copy out in front of you of your creative rings. And then also that upper part of GV meridian and the GV20 chakra. It can get really blocked up. Red is an ideal color for any of the acupuncture points. You want to unblock it enough so that you can feel like the flow. And if you can't feel flow, that's fine, just intuit or think. But you want it repaired enough so that there's nice flow in your GV meridian. So just use gold light and unblock the chakra and repair it, because it could be really crushed or just like so caked with, energy blocks that it's not very functional. And obviously it's a pretty small chakra, but you can make a big version of it. So you can, make a copy of it out in front of you, looking at it, and you can see blocks and cracks and hard objects. Give any hard objects to your angels, or just melt them away with gold. All right, that's good enough for GV20. So then 7th chakra, like I said, is oriented this way, round opening the top and the bottom. Purple is a nice color for the 7th chakra. So I had said that we're going to do more 7th chakra unblocking so that you naturally can unblock your 5th layers and your 4th layers better around here, all around. So I guess I'll stick that in right now. So just unblock your 7th extra to help with sound boundaries. And since you come into your 7th first, like that has to be pretty nice for you to make progress with the other ones. Improve your flow in your 7th chakra. Melt cords. Unblock. So creative rings again, melt cords going into them. And if there are any invasive beings messing with your creative rings or GV20 or your 7th chakra, you can just imagine them like all in a line and say, angels, can you please recycle all those beings? Healthy beverage break while your angels do the work. And GV20, top of your GV meridian, 7th chakra, that unblocked enough so that you can make progress with your sound boundaries. That you can have enough confidence, even subconsciously, to kind of own your space. 7th chakra helps with confidence. And of course, 7th, creative rings. We want them to be relaxed enough because they don't have cords so that the flaps fall shut. This is when the flaps stick open. It's an irritated state of one of your creative rings. So we want to melt away enough cords so that the flaps fall shut. So it's just a smooth, 3 smooth gold rings without those flaps sticking out. And again, creative rings, GV20, 7th chakra. If you have any invasive beings messing with any of those, just imagine them like a bunch of silly clouds and just say, angels, can you recycle all those beings? Deep breath, healthy beverage break, one of the above. All right, good job. Woohoo. You're a rock star. So that was unblocking your creative rings, repairing your creative rings, melting cords from your creative rings, as well as the same thing with GV20 and 7th chakra. Right. The GV meridian, as many of you know, helps to manage all your yang meridians. So it's a good one to work. So now we'll just do all the chakras. Is that all? We'll do all of them at the same time, all major and minor chakras, including all your acupuncture points, which are minor chakras. So major chakras, 7 physical body along your spine and 7 astral body chakras along your spine. Minor chakras, you have them all over the place in your spirit and your body. So just imagine imagine all of them. Imagine a composite copy chakra that represents all your major and minor chakras. So that's the basic chakra shape, a round open cylinder. Open cylinder. Round cylinder is redundant. But anyway, just imagine an image and have it represent, with your intention, have it represent all your major and minor chakras. And so as you repair this, you're repairing all your major and minor chakras. Your intention, of course, is you want to do what's healthy and gentle to do right now. Melt cords. The cords typically will be coming in pairs around the round opening. Unless you have a gash somewhere along the way, like a big hole that shouldn't be there, then people could cord there too. Melt cords, repair damage. You have hard objects stuck in the chakras, just lift them out and give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Lift out any hard objects. Angels, here you go. So much gold light that everything gets repaired. And again, as I said, there are flaps, just like on the creative rings, there are flaps around the round openings of chakras. Definitely the major chakras. So we don't want them to look like that, like sticking out. We want the flaps to be shut. So it's nice and smooth. So your energy can go through the chakra, but it's harder for people to cord. We'll do a couple extra things. So worst points, you could say worst chakras, but so if there's any that are still blocked, the most damaged. We just repaired and unblocked all of them, but typically you'll have some that unblock really easily and some that are a little more stubborn, right? So just imagine the ones that still need unblocking, only those. And a copy that represents just those worst ones, right? And worse, not as in they're bad, but we love them, but they need more work. So just lots of gold light, melt cords. You can just dissolve any hard objects stuck in there. And your intention is still, you want to do what's healthy and gentle to do right now. But, maybe these worst chakras need just a little extra individual attention. All right, good job. So first we did all, and then we did worst. Okay. I don't know if you can see that well enough with me my sweater being that color. Is that better? Maybe that'll help. You can let me know. All right. So let's do this. Sorry about that. That was just how we're really doing. Okay. So this is all behind the base of the skull, in the physical body aura and astral body aura, and then also in the physical body neck, in and around the physical. So first, good karma windows, which are in the astral body aura behind the base of the skull. So like there's a triple frame window right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One in each layer of the astral body aura. And if these windows are repaired and unblocked enough, then only good stuff comes through and not the invasive stuff from people and beings. So good stuff is mostly energy you're trying to manifest, your new energy, good karma from the universe, gentle, tiny amounts of moon and star energy that's like uplifting and inspiring. So energy can kind of weave through those windows and anchor into your base of skull points or your upper chakras. So you just kind of imagine them like ropes and just get the whole thing. Give it to your angels. Here you go. Angels, here you go. And any hardness in that area, straight back from the base of your skull, contributes to the boundaries issues. So you just want to melt away all the hardness, all the energy blocks in that area, including melting away hardness in the physical body aura in that area. And that's what I call the flow zone, is that same area in your physical body aura. You want to melt away any hardness there. Flow zone does not have good karma windows, so it's maybe simpler to imagine. It's just your physical body aura layers back there in that area. So you want that flowing. And flow zone also includes in and around the physical neck. You want all that to be nice and flowing. Imagine any blocks and melt them away. Including inside your neck, like your spine, your bones, your spinal cord. So again, if you have any energy that's kind of woven in there, anchored into your base of skull or your upper chakras, just kind of imagine the whole thing, drag it out, give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Drag it out. Angels, here you go. Go through that area. You want it to flow really well. You want it to just for you. And your base of skull points very quickly are there, shown in the diagram. So at the level, 2 rows of points at the level of the row is at the top of the ear level and 1 row is at the bottom of the ear level. And so those points shown in the diagram, you unblock those. They're little chakras oriented this way because they're fitting into the meridian right there. Bunch of little chakras. Midline one is GV meridian, which I talked about as we worked GV20 when we did creative rings this time. And then the yellow line is urinary bladder meridian. Not that you need to know that, but in case you're curious what these points are. The blue-green line is gallbladder meridian. Don't have to know the name in order to repair and unblock. Get the flow. You don't even have to know the natural direction of flow because the chakras know the direction that they're supposed to go. You just unblock and repair. And the chakras take care of the rest. And then unblock if there's any hardness right behind the base of skull points. Kind of drag it out so it's more obvious and then just melt it away with cold light. Yeah, just up and down your spine just a little bit so that you can. Get centered again after that work. Good. All right. Good job. Good job. Your pants blocked. Oh, right. So looking at those sexy photos, hopefully that motivates you to clear out this area. And just to remind you, those are models, and they're also probably airbrushed images, heavily airbrushed, retouched images. So don't feel bad if your hot pants area doesn't look quite like that. It's okay. Still got it going on. So just imagine that area and your astral body and your physical body and your first and second layers outside of that area of your auras, and just unblock. You want to fit in really well into that area, including your first and second chakras. You can just lift out the blocks and melt them away. Lift out the blocks, give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. I don't know which motivates you more to be in that area, looking at the pants blocks area or looking at the pelvis diagram, which is very unsexy. But, it's still a relevant part of that area, though. So it could unblock your sacrum, especially. That's that middle part right there, the base of the spine. Sacrum bone, very nice, cool thing. Your ilium bones form your pelvis. And then your big leg bones connect at that hip joint. Let's go back to the sexy one with confetti. So also the auras around it, immediately around it. First and second layers of your auras are right around your biker shorts area. And let's unblock the 7th chakra again, just to see if that helps at all. So unblock your 7th chakra a little more. Just imagine it. It's a chakra, open cylinder shape, round up at the top and the bottom, right in here in the top of your head. You have 2 7th chakras. And then see if that makes it easier for you to unblock your pants blocks. Melt away your blocks in your biker shorts areas. Out the blocks. You could blow them up or melt them with light. Lift up the blocks. Angels, if you have any invasive beings messing with this area, either they have their energy in there or they're kind of far off, but they're courting that area. Just imagine all those invasive beings. Just say, angels, can you please recycle all these beings? And slap your thighs gently if you want. Just be there, be there, be there, be there. And put your hands directly on your hips. And a lot of gold light there. All right. Good job. So it'll be interesting to see if, you know, unblocking the 7th chakra in the middle of the pants blocks, unblocking helped. I mean, I think it helped, but I'm wondering how much. So that should be interesting. All right. So we'll temporarily say goodbye to these sexy images there. Alrighty. Fabulous. So now screaming. I'll put that in all caps. Screaming. So are you screaming? Is someone you know screaming at you? Because people in the world are definitely screaming. They have parts of themselves that are stuck in anguish or fear or whatever. Revenge feelings of fury, anguish, trauma, whatever, right? So people scream, and that creates sound. And sometimes it's invasive in intention, as in a sound attack when someone's screaming specifically at you, either consciously or subconsciously. But other times it's just a broadcast scream and you're picking up on it, and it can get too much in the way of your own mind and your own thoughts if you're too blocked up and damaged. You don't have good sound boundaries, right? So we're going to get to working this acupuncture points here, probably the very next section. But let's work screaming first. First of all, are you screaming? And, you know, if you're listening to this, you're probably not fully screaming right now, right? But there could be like 5% of your energy screaming or 10% of your energy screaming, like just a part of you. Possibly a part of you that you've walled off. So you're kind of numb to it. You're not really aware of it. But whoever you're screaming at would be aware of it. And you're contributing to sort of the group chaos in the world. So it's not good for you, certainly, and not good for others. For example, there was one of my people I'm healing. She was mentioning in her survey some recent conflicts with her spouse. Mentioning, you know, they went out to dinner, blah blah blah, and she was screaming profanities at her husband. I won't F you, we'll say, you know, but she was saying the actual full word. In which I love to say that word in recreational context, but right now I probably doesn't make sense to say it. So anyway, but she kept saying that over and over and over to her spouse. Most likely subconsciously though, but it came through in like how she spoke and, you know, how he felt about her. So it contributed. I'm not saying that all conflict is her fault or anything, but, you know, that does make things worse if you keep yelling that over and over at somebody on a spirit level. So, but it's not as rare as you might think. Just people get stuck on little things, and, you know, it just happens. And then too, it can get less triggered and they stop, but then it gets more triggered again for some reason. You know, so you could be screaming at an ex-husband or an ex-wife, or you could be screaming at, you know, just a former friend, you know, or a parent or sibling or something, or even somebody you knew in a past life. Maybe you're still screaming at them. That would be an impressive level of stuckness if you were still screaming at a past life person, but it's possible. So anyway, a simple way to stop screaming is just, you know, direct healing of your throat chakra, both astral and physical, by putting your hands, you know, lots of gold light, you know, clean off your hands so they generate as much energy as possible. unblock your fingertip chakras and your hand chakras. And then, you know, set them to gold, metallic gold, like this glitter, right? And then just, so they're generating gold light, and then just bathe your throat chakra with lots and lots of gold light. You know, unblock, melt cords. Just, you know, do it enough so that you, of course, you can do a copy out in front of you too of your fifth chakra. Just imagine both your fifth chakras, astral inside, physical. Probably, if you're reasonably present, they're both one's inside the other. So just, you could separate them if you want to see like is one damaged and one not damaged. But you can repair and unblock them both together too. So that's one way to stop screaming, is just extra healing and unblocking of your throat chakra. Throat chakras, physical and astral. Melt cords. But like I said in the intro, I talked a lot in the intro. There's a screaming section in the discussion, you know, before the healing. And I talked about how if a part of you is stuck screaming, certainly if your part of you is stuck screaming consciously, then you're channeling something. It's not you. But if a subconscious part of you, like maybe only 5 or 10% of you is stuck screaming, yeah, there still probably are invasive beings fueling you to continue it on and on and on. So, so you can imagine your fifth chakras and then just line up any invasive beings that are at all fueling or inspiring or motivating your screaming, you know, being stuck in rage or anguish or whatever. Imagine all those invasive beings and just say, angels, can you recycle all these invasive beings? And just breathe while your angels do that work. Why would invasive beings do that? Well, because they're perpetuating you being in an imbalanced state. You know, screaming is an imbalanced state. And so you're not as safe. You don't have particularly strong boundaries if you're screaming. And so that's good for invasive beings and invasive people that want to, you know, just take your energy and influence your behavior and your thoughts. So healing these screaming parts of you is a huge win-win for you. I mean, like on several levels. So again, your fifth chakras, you're repairing and unblocking those. And also, again, imagine any invasive beings that could be influencing your fifth chakras in any way, or you're screaming in any way. And just say, angels, can you recycle all these invasive beings? And again, you can also do just direct hands-on healing of your throat chakra because it's so convenient. You get to access the front and the back of your fifth chakras easily. Sides. All right, that's good enough for now. So that takes care of if you are screaming. If you're currently screaming. But if we look at, okay, well, what's the underlying baggage causing you to scream, which is good to clear, you know, so that it can't get just triggered again next week and you do the whole same full tilt behavior again, right? So you can just make a big gold blanket out in front of you and pile onto it any baggage that could cause you to get stuck in rage or stuck in fear or anguish or trauma, you know, something that could make you scream. You know? So the underlying baggage underneath why you're screaming, you know, feelings of loneliness, feelings of anguish, rage, whatever, you know, how life is not fair, blah, 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 which it's not. Anyway, just pile up all that baggage and use lots of gold light and say, angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? If any of it's too much, they'll take it away and then just melt or blow up anything that's left. All that baggage, the underlying baggage, you know, underneath the screaming, which is probably, it may have nothing to do with why you would consciously feel frustrated. It's like deeper subconscious stuff, probably. Maybe some of it's conscious, but only a small percentage. That's another reason why getting lost in the screaming is pointless. Well, it's worse than pointless. Harmful to you, but also not as cathartic as people think. Okay, so again, any underlying baggage that motivates you to get stuck in trauma or whatever kind of screaming, just pile all that baggage out in front of you. Angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? And go ahead and melt it away. Melt any cords going into the pile from other people, and melt all the baggage. And if there are any beings, invasive beings that are at all connected to your screaming, just line them up. Say, angels, can you please recycle these invasive beings? So again, it's not that screaming in and of itself, like if you were just to yell out for a second, ah, I am strong, ah, that's not going to draw negativity to you because you're thinking about how you're strong. You're like, rah, so just the thoughts of that, the intention of that, you're actually more present. So it's not particularly dangerous to you because you're having this presence moment. I mean, yeah, invasive beings would notice that, but they would be like, oh, she's pretty present. That's not going to motivate them to come towards you. If you're present and vibing on your positivity and stuff, that makes you safer. Right? So it's not exactly that yelling is dangerous. It's that, being stuck in an imbalanced state that also happens to be very obvious to others and maybe harming others even if you're directing it at somebody. That's where all the downside comes in. But anyway, okay, cool. So that's enough on screaming if you're doing it, right? But what about if other people are screaming? That I think that's where we will be doing the points here. I think that will help with the sound boundaries with other people screaming. So let's shift and do that now. Okay, so okay. So let's do it. I already explained it in the intro, and hopefully you were patient with me when I when I moved around, when I figured out how to get this graphic. But anyway, so CV meridian starts in the crotch, goes up the midline of the front. CV meridian stands for conception vessel meridian, and it helps to manage all your yin meridians. So yin, like sensitivity, subtlety, self-nurturing, stuff like that. It balances out your yang meridians. So anyway, CV meridian, right? And the penultimate, the second to last point in your CV meridian is that dot that they show in the upper throat right there. So that's CV23, and then CV24 is right there at the crease, right there below your lip. But CV23, that one, when I looked at people, it seemed to be really key for this. So anyway, we're going to repair that and unblock it. And then also stomach 9, 10, 11, 12. So the points, the green line is the stomach meridian, and 9, 10, and 11 and 12. So there's 2 branches of it, right? So there's 2 stomach 9, 2 stomach 10, 2 stomach 11, and 2. So it goes down and out like a little L, right? So 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's just do it. I'm going to go back and forth and do them. So, and again, these points are pretty small, you know, these chakras, but you can make a big version of them so that you can see it better and unblock better, make a big copy. So, CV23. The direction of flow is upward for the CV meridian. Stomach meridian, the direction of flow is downward right there in that part of the meridian. So, not that that super matters, just turn a block. Stomach meridian, sorry, CV23. So you can have, you know, say for CV23, right there, energy flows upward in that meridian. So it's more likely to be blocked here rather than here, but unblock both ends. But so CV meridian is going up this way, right? But you can have energy blocks wrapped around the outside of it or stuffed in it as well. CV23. The penultimate point in the CV meridian. Which means second to last. All right, and then stomach 9, 10, 11, 12. At that part, it flows downward and then over. So the green line, that's the stomach meridian. So 9 and 10 are oriented this way. And then in order to pull the energy this way, stomach 11 is oriented this way. And 12 would be oriented this way to pull it downward. So stomach 9, 10, 11. Fun fact. You don't really need to know that in order to repair them and unblock them, just with your intention. But if you do want to geek out and which way oriented. So I'll do that again for the stomach point orientation. So stomach meridian 9 and 10, that's kind of obvious that they're the little points are oriented this way because they fit within the meridian, right? The energy is going downward, but then at that bend there, that big right angle bend, the stomach meridian 11 is going to be oriented this way to pull it through the bend. And then stomach meridian 12 is going to be oriented this way to pull it through the bend downward. And again, your intention is you want to heal what's healthy and gentle. You heal right now. And then you can, just like we do with the base of skull points, where we unblock the auras around that area as well. So with this stomach points 9, 10, 11, 12, and the CV23, we can unblock in front of there. The auras in front of there, just kind of coax out any hardness in the auras in that area. And just melt that aura hardness or blow it up if you're healing yourself. So coax out that hardness in that area, this whole area. Coax that out in your hands, melt it away with gold light. Coax it out, angels. You can hand it to your angels. Angels, angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. If you have any invasive beings messing with these points or this area in front, say, angels, can you please recycle those invasive beings? Because the more flow you have here, the more you're present, because it's like you're a fish and you swim through water. Fish don't swim through rocks, right? So if it's hard and rocky here, you can't be there. And it's really easy for other people to cord there and anchor their cords in. So you want to just unblock as much as possible, melt any hardness in that area so that you can be there and have much better sound boundaries. And since we're doing that same area, we could also heal your 5th chakra just a teeny bit extra. So both 5th chakras. So how does CV23 relate to the 5th chakra? I would say CV23 is just above the throat chakra. So they're not exactly over. Chakra. Unblock, melt cords. Unblock in front of and behind your 5th chakra. Both astral and physical. All right, a couple deep breaths. All right, good job. Pretty cool stuff. Woohoo. Should add right. Good job. Woohoo. I'm such a child. I love it. Alrighty. Never too late to have a happy childhood. I always say that. That's like my motto to live by. Yay! All right, what's next? Okie dokie, you're a total rock star. Yay for you. Okay, I noticed in somebody's survey they were talking about their son, who I also give healings to, and that he didn't want to go to bed at night, even on a school night. He stayed up late, so then of course he's exhausted for school, of course. And part of what I saw was that he keeps projecting his energy like, 25 years ahead of time for like, or 23 years ahead of 22, whatever, for when he's 40 for some reason. Like being 40 for him seems like, he'll really have his shit together at 40 and nobody will make him do anything he doesn't want to do by the time he's 40, so he keeps projecting himself into the future to like when he's 40, when now he's, how old is he now? Whatever, he's a late teen right now. So mid to late teen right now. So you'd think, well, okay, call your energy back from the future, right? And that'll fix it, right? Then he'll realize, like, I'm actually not 40 years old and I do have school in the morning. But what we want to do is clear the underlying energy blocks that cause him to resist his present life, right? So I'm still explaining more, but I have been explaining, and this is more of it. But, like, do you resist reality? In which case, maybe you project your energy into the future or the past or just far, far away from you, right? So there could be aspects of your reality currently that you're in resistance about. Maybe you're in resistance about that you're single. Maybe you're in resistance about that you're married. Maybe you're in resistance about that you're unemployed or that you are employed, but you don't like your job or you don't like your husband's job, blah, blah, blah. So many things to resist, right? The possibilities are endless. So we cannot change your whole reality by, waving a magic wand or doing a 5-minute clearing, but we can help you to resist it much less, which makes it suck much less. If you resist something, it like sort of eats you alive. It just makes it so much harder to handle. And then your resistance draws other experiences to you that you also don't like, and it really snowballs. So we don't want that. I don't think you want that. So let's clear your resistance to your reality, your present reality. Right? Because some people are like, well, okay, sure, my life sucks right now and I hate every aspect of it with a passion, but I have, good future goals, right? I want this and this and this to happen, right? And so I imagine that my future will be absent of all these things that I'm resisting, right? But the problem is it's the underlying resistance. And if you keep that, A, it's hard to change your life and bring in the new things that you want. And B, you'll tend to find and maybe even manifest new shittiness if you keep the resistance. So the resistance is the root of all the yuckiness, basically. So let's clear it. All right. So we're going to clear resistance to reality, to your reality, your present reality. So make a big old blanket out in front of you and just stack up or pile up all your copies of all your baggage that causes you to resist. Resist the family members that you have, resist their behaviors, resist, something about your health, something about your life, something about people that whatever. Okay, so it's not the people that we're working on, it's you, how much it bothers you, how much that, you just like kind of curl up because that affects your boundaries with those people, right? So just, this is something you have control over. You can clear your resistance to those people and their behaviors or the situation, right? So clear your resistance to your reality, and that will liberate you a lot. It won't change everything, but it helps. So put out copies of all your resistance baggage. Don't spare any of it, because we'll ask the angels to make sure you're not doing too much, right? So Don't worry, just keep purging out your resistance. Barf it all out onto the cold blanket out in front of you. And say, angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? Is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And then go ahead. Anything that's left that is, yes, it's healthy and gentle to clear right now. So go for it. You can melt away everybody's cords. And just, you could blow it all up if you want, as long as it fully destroys, or just melt it away with lots of gold light. And you can say, if there are angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of me clearing my resistance, can you please recycle those invasive? Okay, and you may have some resistance paired with denial. That's why sometimes we clear rad blocks, which is resistance, avoidance, and denial. So let's do that. So we'll, it's still the same topic, so I'll leave the same banner, but rad blocks, all your resistance, avoidance, and denial together. So big gold blanket out in front of you, put all your resistance, all that you're still resisting, and so the baggage that causes you to resist, right? And then the baggage that causes you to avoid clearing stuff, like, I'll do it later. Oh, I'll do it next month. I'll do it next year. Right? I'll do it in the summer, whatever. Right? So all the avoidance, all the resistance, and all the denial. Like, it's not me. I'm a nice person. I'm wonderful. Right? So resistance, avoidance, denial. And say, angels, is there, can you check this? Is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? So that whatever's still there, yes, it's healthy and gentle to clear right now. So you can blow it all up if you're healing yourself, or you can melt it away with gold light if you prefer. Melt cords, people cording into all that junk, so that you can be sure to melt it all away. And one more time, any baggage underneath what you're resisting. So what's causing you to resist, this aspect of your life? What's causing you to resist this person so much? Right? And just don't be like, well, it's their fault. That's not what I'm aiming for. Aiming for the stuff within you that like weakens you to the point where they're driving you insane. Right? So what are the seeds, the origins of your resistance and your avoidance and your denial, right? And say, angels, can you make sure this is healthy and gentle to clear right now? And whatever's left is healthy and gentle to clear right now, and just melt it away, or with gold light, or blow it up. All right, good job. Woohoo! Okay. So let's make energy healing flowers for yourself at the vibration that you need to kind of jumpstart yourself into self-nurturing. So make it to match the energy of you nurturing you. Um, so that even if it's hard for you to nurture yourself, like with actions, and choices and decisions that you're making, um, this could help nudge you along that way and help to, fill you up a little in the ways that self-nurturing behaviors would do. So self-nurturing energy healing flowers for yourself, right? So just go ahead and I like moving my hands as I do it, but it's not necessary. You could just make them with your intention out in front of you. But you use universal healing energy and you set it to whatever colors you want that would be most like your own self-nurturing energy. So not self-nurturing energy that someone else does, but your unique self-nurturing energy. So rainbow colors or gold or both. Just make a whole bunch of flowers, or if you don't like flowers, somebody uses images of a jaguar or some kind of car or whatever you like. But a whole bunch of energy flowers that are tuned to your vibration of self-nurturing, right? And just say, angels, can you check my flowers? And then go ahead and give them to yourself. You do a couple deep breaths, soak all that in. You could do that, at least 2 more times. Just make a lot of self-nurturing flowers for yourself. The angels, can you check my flowers? Give them 2 breath. And let's do that one more time. Of course, you can do this as much as you want later, or, pause the video and keep doing it. But make a lot of self-nurturing flowers for yourself. And say, angels, can you check my flowers? And give them to yourself. All right, good job. Woo, yay. Okay. So let's wrap up. You can just imagine all your auras, your 17 auras, and your physical body and your astral body are inside those auras, and then both your groundings that connect you all the way down to the core of the earth. And just use lots of gold light, comb through all that. You can uncord your backlash people. Just imagine you, and then imagine any of your backlash or setback people, which are people that could be triggered by your growth, and they may even get aggressive about it and throw energy at you. So just imagine yourself and the backlash people. Don't do anything to them, and melt cords that may be there between you and them. Doesn't mean that you're removing them from your life necessarily. A cord is just, it's not like a poetic concept I'm talking about. I'm talking about literally lines of light going between you and them currently, and you can melt those away so that you're not sending your life force to them and they're not sending their life force to you, because your energy is better for you, theirs is better for them. So just melt all those cords. That way they're less likely to be disrupted by your growth, and they're less likely to throw things. Melt all those cords to your backlash people. And if you do notice, you imagine a row of your backlash people and imagine another row of all the invasive beings fueling that backlash behavior towards you. If there are any invasive beings fueling these people to be backlash people with you, just say, angels, can you recycle all those beings? Don't do anything to the people. The angels are doing it. You're not doing anything requested. Right? So then you can stop imagining all that and just imagine yourself again. To redo your gold buffer zones. Unblock your auras a little bit extra above you and beneath you. Notice your auras in front of these cool acupuncture points that we worked on. They are behind your neck, above the top of your aura. You might have some heavy stuff there. Just melt all that away. Above the top of your aura. So like top of her auras, then sitting right here. Heavy stuff just sitting there. You can melt it all away. You don't have to keep it there. We didn't do anything directly on your sleep slide today, so we could squeeze that in here. So quick little sleep slide. So just imagine you and then the astral and your little fun little slide, sleep slide going up to the astral that you use when you're falling asleep and waking back up, and just use a lot of gold light and surround it with so much gold light and just melt away anything that's not you on that slide. And if you have any fear blocking it up, melt that away. Any anger, melting it up. Blocking it up, melt that away. Oh yeah, and then let's the back to sleep baggage. Do that. So I talked about this in the intro, the discussion before the healing, that you can have baggage that triggers when you come back in after you've been asleep for a little bit. There's more of you, like your astral body got recharged and restored, and so you're coming back in with more energy, and that kind of kicks up the dust when you come back in, meaning it can trigger energy blocks that have been there in your physical body energy system, and then those triggered blocks now block up your sleep slide, so it's really hard for you to get back to sleep for some people. Some other people, they just dynamically clear it and it never blocks up, so they can go right back to sleep easily. So let's put a big old blanket out in front of you and just put onto it any likely go back to sleep baggage that typically or possibly would make it harder for you to go back to sleep, right? And just blow it up or melt it with gold light. You could say too, angels, is it okay to clear all this? But they're like, yeah. Big problem. Because angels want you to be able to go back to sleep easily. So big gold blanket out in front of you, pile onto it copies of any of your go back to sleep baggage, which is basically just any baggage that is likely going to trigger and block your sleep slide when you're trying to get back to sleep. Yeah, just melt it away. It's not really baggage about sleeping. It just gets in the way of you going back to sleep. So it could be fear, like money fears, or, anger at a parent, or, frustration with, your economic situation, or, whatever. It's not about sleep, but it happens to block your sleep slide when you're trying to go back to sleep. So again, one more time, big old blanket, pile onto it any go back to sleep baggage, anything that is likely going to trigger to block you being able to go back up the slide and have some work, right? So all that back to sleep baggage. Say, angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? And then let's just melt it away. We're melting away your back to sleep bag. And I think if we keep doing this clearing of this, then hopefully there's less of a backlog to get in your way, and then maybe too you just consciously know to do it. But even the people that are getting, they're telepathically consenting, so they don't know about these healings, and they they wouldn't want to know. Then hopefully we can get to the point where there's so little backlog that you just dynamically clear in order to go back to sleep easily. That's the goal. Alrighty. So I think we could just say that's a healing. That's a healing. Good job. Yay. Good job. Good job. Good job. That's a healing. Woohoo. Yay. Now that was a more consequential wrap up section than we usually do. Because I remembered that I wanted to do sleep slide, repair and unblocking, and go back to sleep baggage clearing. There you go. Alrighty. So if you have a comment about the theme of sound boundaries, hear yourself think, peace of mind, less background chaos, less screaming, or the secondary theme, which is good sleep. If you have comments about any of that, feel free to chat it right now. Let me know how you're doing after the healing. Later, if you're watching in a video, you could post under the video something like that if you wish. And obviously, if you got the healing, I will be sending you a post-healing survey by late tonight that you can fill out if you have a minute on Monday. That would be helpful. Let's see. This is thanks for the healing, Janet. I feel kind of terrible, bad headache on my right front side of my head, and I feel like I'm floating. Woke up with this headache, so I think something happened on the astral. So you want to look at like, okay, aura damage, chakra damage, creative ring damage, everything in that area. Good karma window damage. So good karma window damage. I don't think there's anything significantly wrong with your good karma windows. Major chakras in that area, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think there's anything majorly wrong with that. The minor chakras, like along the meridians and such of your head, that's a possibility. But it looks like more like it's like a backlash from like beings that used to get in there much better than they can now, and they're trying to get back in because it looks like just like a pressure. So it's like almost like a pillow trying to come back in, but the pillow is just a bunch of beings. So if you just say, angels, can you recycle all those beings? And then there's still a couple. So it's angels, can you recycle all those beings? And then you could just repair, extra, like the meridians and stuff around there. You don't have to know where they are specifically. Just, do like gold light everywhere with your intention that you're getting the meridians. Doesn't look like you have significant aura damage, really. Because you just got a major healing, so that's why. But yeah, it still just looks like pressure, like it's still just beings, but like if you have some blocks and so they're courting the blocks, trying to jam their way back into your head. So just imagine any blocks, we call those stepping stone blocks, right? And so just imagine the blocks and melt them away. And you can keep having angels recycle the beings, but it's not so much a being problem. It's like an access to your head problem. Like you just want to be there so much that you can't get booted out. And then, of course, get rid of the invasive beings trying to get back in. So hopefully that makes sense and that helps. You can post another comment on how you're doing with that if you want. Someone says, thanks, Janet. How am I doing on my path/present? I'm a little stressed right now. How is my husband? So you are, You're having a little pressure in your lower chakras, like pants blocks type thing. So you could bring up that graphic that I love so much. So, I would say pants blocks and 7th chakra. Oops, wait, yeah. Never mind that, those words. But yeah, pants blocks and 7th chakra. I would say work your 7th chakra and your pants blocks area, more your 7th chakra, more your pants blocks area, 7th chakra, pants blocks area. Because it's like if you're parallel parking, you know, and you're like parallel parking into a spot, you got to kind of keep going, roop, 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 roop. It's like that with your body. You're like parallel parking. You have to have better access to your 7th and better access to your pants blocks, and then better access to your 7th and better access to your pants blocks area. So, plus your grounding, the whole left side of your grounding is blocked up. So that's going to get in the way. You could work on that more. The left side of your grounding and left side of your aura in general too, but especially grounding. So like gold sandstorm in your left side. But you are moving forward on your path. And you're in 7th through 2 right now. It's just not super comfortable, you know, because of the grounding blocked up. But you're working on it. Yeah. Your spouse, who also got the healing, his grounding is not so bad right now. His left side is blocked up too, actually. But that's not your fault. He's still having boundary issues with that ex-wife that has the older kids with him. Yeah, I showed him the same thing about 7th chakra and pants blocks area, like parallel parking. Just keep working 7th chakra and then pants blocks area and 7th chakra and then pants blocks area. So he's gonna work on that with his angels. I mean, he is moving forward on his path, though. It seems like doing resistance really helped him, and the yeah, I think this part helped too, the stomach meridian and conception vessel meridian stuff. Someone says, thanks, Janet. Already feeling the difference with that work. Yes, the stuff I was talking about with the heads. Headache. Were the beings messing with me yesterday when I woke up too, or was that my mom? Yesterday when you woke up too. So today is what? Today's Sunday, so Saturday morning. Yeah, I think that was, well, it was both. I mean, she whacked your lower chakras, but then, yeah, the beings were trying to get back into the upper chakras area. A little both. I mean, that's the thing with when you get more present, it's like there's a little bit of time where you're just learning how to hold your turf, you know, and get rid of the riffraff that's trying to get back in. But glad it's starting to feel better. Someone says, thank you, Janet. I feel more uplifted now, oh good, than I did before the healing. Usually I don't feel any difference, so this is exciting, LOL. Yeah, that's true. You usually feel like a delayed reaction that's sort of blurred, so you're not sure. Yeah, so that's nice. Yeah. Yeah, some people don't feel immediate reactions. Some people feel them all the time. So yeah, it is more fun if you feel an immediate reaction. I think one thing that may be contributing to your immediate reaction is when we did chakra repair, we repaired all the chakras and then we repaired the worst chakras separately, you know, so we did them all at once. But then there, you know, there are going to be some that aren't still great, you know, but the rest of them don't need that work. So then you just focus on just the ones that are the worst. So you could keep doing that. You know, when you repair chakras, I don't know how often you repair chakras, but you could do that. Even if you just 30 seconds on each, 30 seconds to repair all chakras, and then 30 seconds to just repair the worst ones, the most blocked, most damaged, most corded. Cool. So it says, thank you, Janet. I felt more involved in today's healing and am feeling calm. Oh, good. Is there a way to tell when I'm subconsciously screaming at my husband? Yeah, I'm glad you caught that reference there. I thought me being quiet and listening to my music was helping me out, but it wasn't. Thank you. Oh, it's always funny when people are getting themselves into trouble, you know? I mean, it's not funny in the moment, of course, but as a phenomenon, it's kind of what funny. Yeah, sometimes silence in an argument really is silence, but sometimes it's not silence. You know, sometimes it's very loud telepathy. Oh, yeah. Is there a way to tell when you're subconsciously screaming at your husband? I would just assume that you are and heal those parts of you. You and your, there's some deep stuff between you guys, and it's not all him, I promise you. So, yeah, I would just consistently work that if I were you, just because it has such an impact on quality of life, you know? So, yeah, just keep working that. Assume you are. I think, too, the fact that you're a mom of young kids does add to it. You know, like that expression, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. I think you could have a different, similar expression that says, health has no fury like the mother of young children. Because, you know, being a mom is taxing and draining, and being a parent in general is taxing and draining. But when your kids are young, there's that extra first chakra cord for each kid connected to your first chakra. And a lot of people's first chakras don't work that great to begin with. And then you have, you know, what, how many kids? And you got, so then now your first chakra is working for however many kids you had plus you. Good luck with that, you know? And so it's a bit of a house of cards if you're not present enough and your chakras aren't, you know, really rocking it. You're not like connected to the earth enough. So yeah, hell hath no fury like the mother of young children. I like that expression. Hopefully I'm not totally pissing off anybody, but okay. Oh. So if you are one of those mothers and you're like, holy shit, you're right. My first chakra is not ready for working on, you know, sending earth energy and first chakra energy to me and all my young children. There is hope. I promise. But just, you know, extra gold light to your first chakra, you know, extra gold light to your legs, you know, unblock your legs more, because the more earth energy you have, red earth energy you have coming up through your legs into your first chakra, the more it nourishes you and replenishes you. So then you're up to the task of however many goddamn young children you have. Also, make sure that the cord from you to them goes pretty much one way for the most part. I mean, maybe a little towards you, but sometimes in situations where I see that the mom is especially depleted and or lacking confidence, sometimes the kids send all the energy to her first chakra, which is totally not the way it's supposed to happen. And that's when the kids just go berserk, which is challenging. So, Yeah, so get that earth energy, red earth energy coming up your legs into your first chakra. Calm your first chakra down so that you are sending calm, red strength through your first chakra to your kids, in addition to calming red earth energy from your first chakra to your kids' first chakra. And this is if kids are young, like, 12 or younger. Because some kids after 11, they don't even need that first chakra cord, but it depends on the kid. But yeah, so there's hope. It's not always going to be a house of cards. Doesn't have to be, but it can be. All right, so there's that. Mrs. Oh, and part of how you don't know that you're yelling at your spouse telepathically is because you have a big wall. You wall off those areas. In order for you to find inner peace, or somewhat this much inner peace, you wall off all your inner turmoil and pretend it's not there, as opposed to actually healing those inner turmoil parts of you and calming them down and restoring them and nourishing them. You just create a wall and you're like, Mama, it's not there. I'm totally calm and silent. And meanwhile, part of you is like, ah, fuck you. So anyway, there you go. So yeah, you're walling off the most imbalanced parts of you, which isn't helpful. So you can just imagine the imbalanced parts of you, and heal those imbalanced parts of you before you melt the wall, but also melt the wall. So here's you, here's the imbalanced parts of you, heal those imbalanced parts of you, and then melt your wall so you're not so oblivious to what you're up to. Which is a good technique for everybody, even if you don't have young children. To heal the parts of you that you're walling off and then melt the wall. Says, thank you for the healing techniques. I'll be using them. Noise in right ear is mostly at night before sleep. Yeah, I need to know that during a survey when I have time to sit down and really study it. Right now, I don't really have time for that. I feel that with the sleep techniques and the fifth chakra work, I will be more present. Okay. But yeah, let me know at that level of detail, but on a survey. Thank you very much. Someone says, I do the 5 basics every day. Thank you. Oh, I'll take your advice and heal the worst chakras again after I do the basics. Yeah. Cool. Someone says, hi, Janet. Thank you so much. My spouse, you mentioned his initials, just returned from a trip today. I feel a bit resentful and jealous, as I don't think he missed this very much, but I guess who would? Yeah. I think the productive side of noticing that you're jealous of somebody or you resent something is thinking, well, what do I need? It's like, okay, well, he got something good. What is the something good that I'm craving? And sometimes you don't, yeah, okay, if you got to go, and be not around your kids and not around your house and the house chores and your kids for like a couple days, wouldn't that be great, right? But say that's not about to happen in the next month, right? Then just try to think about, well, what is it that I'm craving that's behind the jealousy? Am I craving just, a lack of responsibility? Like, is it that my responsibilities are just weighing me down like 1,000-pound rocks? And then you can think, well, okay, I can't just not be a mother of young kids for the next, decade or so. I'm the mother of young kids, right? So you can think, okay, well, here's the energy of my responsibility to my children and my husband. And there could be a lot of past life baggage that is making those responsibilities seem 100 times heavier than they could seem, because obviously it's a lot to be a mother of young kids and to be, wife and whatever, but potentially, but what you can do about it is, if you have some inner baggage or some inner burdens that make it heavier than it would otherwise be, right? So just think of, okay, well, what's the baggage that's making my burdens heavier? That's making my responsibilities into burdens. right? And then just work on melting that baggage. And that's something you can do over time, like, you know, maybe once a day for, you know, a week or so. Just think of like, okay, well, what's my inner baggage that's making my life feel so burdensome, right? And just melt that away. Because, yeah, hope that helps. Yeah, so I wouldn't, I mean, logically, of course, you know, yeah, it makes sense that getting away from the house is generally feels good for people, you know. So sometimes I take a walk in the neighborhood, you know, which is like 20 minutes, the route that I like to take, almost 20 minutes. And it's just, you know, you get out of the energy. It's like a different energy environment than you're used to. And so you might clear extra things. So even if you were able to, you know, go out of, you know, take a walk for like 10 minutes, if, you know, he could watch the kids for 10 minutes, you take a walk, that might help. But I think the underlying, you know, baggage, because it could be past life burdens, it could be all sorts of stuff that's making everything seem like it's 1,000 pounds weight. You know, I mean, I know that you have the medical stuff too, but you want to get what's the energy burdens underneath it all, making it just way, way, way too much. I keep clearing that. Okay, hope that helps. Have I been holding my turf better with mom? Yes. The pants blocks helps a lot with that. I've noticed I'm more aware when she's whacking me. Yeah, because you unblock your pants block area, then you stay there and you're like, oh, she's whacking me. As opposed to like she whacks and you're like, woo, I feel anxious. You know, you're more here. So I would keep working the sexy pants blocks area. And I'm more able to repair faster, which is cool. Yeah. She's been whacking me on Saturdays real bad recently. Yeah, that's true. But, you know, it's just because she's a real backseat driver, you know. It's hard for her to not control everyone that she cares about. Someone says, hi, Janet, what do I need to focus on? I think that the pants blocks section that we did today, where we combined it with the 7th chakra. That's why I still have the graphic up, because it's like so relevant to a lot of people's questions. But yeah, you could use the timestamps for today, you know, well, when I make them, which will be late tonight. But I redo, you know, unblock the pants block area and your 7th chakra, and just kind of alternate between the two, unblocking more your 7th chakra, unblocking more your pants block area. But I think that could speed up some of the positive changes that you've been trying to make. Because it's like you're trying to make positive change, which is great, and you know your angels are happy about that you're not just, you know, like waiting for January to think of positive change in January, you know, like most people do. But if you're more present in your pants, biker pants area, and, you know, first, second layer, including that, it just makes you stronger, you know. So when you're subconsciously clearing blocks, you'll clear twice as many at once. You know, it just makes you tougher. Tougher in a good way. Spiritual badass. All right, hope that helps. Someone says, thank you. I did ask his angels if he could get the healing. Yeah. Yeah, and you can do that. Like if you can't afford to get family members healings, you just ask the angels to heal those family members extra. Extra just whatever they need, or extra whatever they need, including the Janet healing, whatever we did in the healings. For the deep issues, is park bench helping? I've been asking my angels a lot lately for this before I go to bed. Park bench helping. I think you mean park bench discussions with your spouse? Maybe? I think if you just work on your stuff, because it's like if I look at what vibrational range is he at, and what vibrational range are you at? There's not much overlap, but then if you work on the stuff that you've been avoiding, there's more overlap. So it's like you guys can make more sense to each other. Not that he's perfect or anything, but it just seems like the specific ways that you're unblocked take you really out of sync with where he's at. Like his baggage is annoying to you, but it doesn't so much, you're the kind of, if we picked one person that's derailing things, it's you. So that if you clear what you're avoiding, then at least you guys can understand each other better. You know that expression, midlife crisis? It's kind of like you're going through a midlife crisis where, like, and I don't mean, like, usually that's such a dramatic term, like, you have to buy a Jaguar and run up 5 credit cards and have affairs and all, I don't mean that level of midlife crisis, But I just mean, like, maybe journal. I don't know if you ever journal, but you could work on this in your sleep with your angels too, if working on it consciously is too much. But like, think about, okay, well, what did you want to be when you grow up? Like, what were your dreams when you were a kid? And then what's your life like right now? Because it seems like you really don't like your life. And it's like somehow there's like some bitterness that came into your heart space. So there's like, it's just like you're not in love with your life, and then he's the closest person around you, so you kind of blame it on him, which is natural. It's not just you that does that. But yeah, I would say you're not in love with yourself, you're not in love with your life, and just kind of, you can look at like clearing resentment in general. Maybe heart chakra clearing, heal your heart chakra. But yeah, there's some like sort of hardening of your heart energy that happened along the way. So you can just maybe big gold blanket out in front of you, pile onto it anything that's made you kind of bitter and, hardened your heart, like, smushed your dreams, whatever dream smushing that happened to you along the way, and just work on clearing that over time. But, and keep giving like flowers to your heart chakra. Because it's, at this point, it's more of a problem of restoring your ability to love and your ability to be loved. Hope that makes sense. But you can do it. You're much more present than you used to be. So you're headed in the right direction. You can do this. All right. So the park bench stuff, you could give it a rest for now and just work on your own self-love. Someone says, thanks, Janet. I'm looking forward to trying to sleep slide clearing for those 2 a.m. wake ups. Grateful for the technique. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, clear these the go back to sleep baggage that's blocking up your sleep slide. You know, and then you can unblock your sleep slide and repair it more and you want an easy route up, easy route down. Easy route back up. Alrighty, well, good. I don't know who you are based on that very cute YouTube name. So, if you want, you could email me your actual first and last name so I know who you are, but only if you want. Okay, you guys are amazing. I hope the healing was fabulous for you. Don't have much of a garden update, except I was thinking I should have shown my tomatoes more literally, rather than just show you one of them last time. So maybe I'll do that. I'll show you tomatoes and I'll show you Izzy all at once. So full frame. So we'll do a tomato cam and an Izzy cam. All right, and then that's it. So hope you have a good morning, afternoon, evening. And here are all the tomatoes that are in the process of ripening on our kitchen counter. And then I'll show you Izzy, hopefully. Alrighty, that was the combination tomato cam. Liked it. Oops, wait. Hope you like that combo of tomato cam and Izzy cam. Alrighty, so take care. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever's next for you. And the next healing, the final one in the triplet set, will be in 2 days on Tuesday. Bye. We'll go head out with some confetti. Bye. You're so amazing.